at how to change the data source for our pivot table. Uh, Basically, in our previous videos, we have seen about how to make pivot table. But sometimes it happens that the data which we were looking or which has to be included was not included into our pivot table. So, how to change the data source for the pivot table? For the time being, I am having this kind of a data for which I have done the this pivot table, for which everything is already included. What I will do, I will just add one more column here. Like for example, I will just copy the ph value column right now, and I will just add here and change the name of the field as ph5 ph2 kind of thing. Now I want this data should also be included into our pivot table, but if you see right now, even I refresh pivot table, it will not have that ph2 kind of field name here. Why this is happening? Because that data is not captured into our data source. So how to change that data source? For that, to change the data source, go into the ribbon here. In the ribbon you will find that there is a change data source line here. Change data source, click on the change data source. You will find that it is opening the dialog box where it is showing what are the data points currently present into the our pivot table. To change the data points, click on this button. It will trim down your dialog box, and after that select all the data points which you want to get included into your pivot table and just complete. Press enter. Okay, now you see here ph2 is also included, which I can actually use directly into this onto my pivot table, and I can get the result accordingly. So this is one of the way to change pivot table, to change data source for the pivot table. There in my previous video, I have also shown you about if we are converting it into a table, here. If I convert it into a table, then if I am adding any rows below it, it will not require us to change the data source, as it will directly take it into a table form. Like if I change it to a table, you can see here I am just changing it to a table. Now I change it to table, and my table has headers. Okay, now it is changed to table. Now if I add here one column here, if I add to this one column, like in the table, I just add yeah, we can actually just go down and add some rows or some data points I am adding here. It will take all the data points also into our consideration. Just what we have to do, we have to go into the table, and here in the pivot table analysis, just click on the refresh and refresh all. It will refresh. So you can see now the data points which were only 100 for every size, for this for this coffee, it has changed to 105 directly without changing any data source, only by refreshing. When we have converted it into a table, it is very easier to do that. See you in the next video. Thank you.